Oh, hello, ladies and gents. This dropped last night. I was on, what was I? Midnight Sage. I was speaking to Midnight Sage for their 200,000 subscriber thing. Netflix has nabbed post-PVOD streaming rights to Sony's feature films in a multi-year deal. This is a really strange deal. Quite big, actually. And surprising to a certain degree because Sony, was up for sale. There's loads of stuff going on with Sony. But this also includes things like Spider-Man. And I wonder how that affects Sony's deal with Marvel. Obviously it doesn't, because they can just do what they want with that character now. But it's just interesting nonetheless. Before we dive into this, ladies and gents, I'm selling my Blackfields Blu-ray. You can find it linked down below in the description box. The film, Blackfields, is there. The prequel, Bjorn and Frida, is there. There's an hour-long making of documentary. That's on the Blu-ray. The soundtrack is on the Blu-ray. The concept art is on the Blu-ray. Loads of production stills are on the Blu-ray. Grab it whilst you can. It is only going to be sold up until May 3rd. So grab it right now. Support me. Support original films. Let's go. Dive into this, shall we? So the exclusive first pay window licensing deal in the US will begin with the studio's film slate next year, which includes anticipated titles like Morbius and Uncharted. So what kind of deal is it? What kind of deal is it? Unlike Disney, NBCUniversal and ViacomCBS, Sony notably has not launched a direct-to-consumer streaming service to compete with Netflix. Instead, the studio is cementing its future in a major deal with Netflix. This, I think, is actually really smart. Because when other people are entering the market and splitting the market down and making it very, very difficult for consumers to choose where they spend their money on streaming platforms, Sony goes, I can't be bothered to make my own. Netflix are the biggest. We'll just put them there. We'll just make a deal with you. Why not? I think it's smart. I think it's really smart. Because we've seen how Disney Plus has struggled. We've seen how HBO Max is struggling. Now, a lot of people would say they're not struggling, but there are certain key elements that they are scrambling to get in, and they are scrambling to get subscribers. We know the amount that they have to make money in terms of the subscriber base, and they're off target at the moment. So they're not doing great. They're not horrendous, but they're not doing great. And I think Sony has done a really, really smart play here. So Sony has inked a multi-year exclusive first pay window licensing deal in the US that will allow Netflix first pay window rights to Sony Pictures titles following their theatrical and home entertainment windows. The studio announced Thursday. The typical pay window is 18 months, since 2006's Sony's pay TV partner has been Lionsgate-owned Starz, so they're moving away from that. For theatrically released films, the 5-year pact will begin with Sony's 2022 slate, which includes Morbius, Uncharted, Bullet Train, and the sequel to the Oscar-winning Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Huge deal. Great for subscribers of Netflix. Massive deal. Really, really, really big. In the future, it will also cover installments from major Sony franchises like Jumanji and Bad Boys. Sources tell THR that the deal is worth roughly $1 billion. I was trying to do a Dr. Evil. $1 billion to Sony. That's real smart. Sony, no, we're not going to make our own streaming service. We're just going to sell them to Netflix. To hell with it. Who cares? Consumer wins. It's us. It's us that win in this scenario. This is great for us. Netflix, which has been spending billions to build out a library of its own in anticipation of the launch of studio streaming services, which also have access to a new library of films, the streamer will have the ability to license the rights to select titles from Sony's library. It's like a first look deal. It's like, oh, you're releasing that? Yeah, we'll have that. No worries. Which includes Columbia's nearly century-old catalogue, as well as other studios' labels, TriStar, Sony Pictures Classics, and Screen Gems, which Netflix and Sony have had a relationship for a while. This is super smart. That we'll get some great movies now. This is really good. And Sony have a pre-existing output deal for Sony Pictures animation titles, first linked in 2014. Over the course of the deal, Netflix has also committed to financing a number of titles from the studio's motion picture group. So they're literally making movies with with Sony as well. That's awesome. These will encompass the films that Sony intends to make directly for streaming from inception, or decides at a later point to license for streaming. So it's good for Netflix, because they can get some more Oscars under their belt, or potentially anyway, and it looks good on them. They can start making more stuff, more Netflix/Sony originals. It's so good. And we, the consumer, are the ones that actually win in this scenario. This is a really good deal for us. With the pack, Netflix will have access to a new pipeline of first-run film offerings, including a steady supply of Marvel content, which has been out of reach for the streaming service since the launch of Disney+. Per deal terms, these will include future installments of Spider-Man and Venom. Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and Spider-Man No Way Home, the next installments in their respective franchises, are both set for 2021 releases, so will not be included in the pact. But in that wording, you can see that they're very much forward planning many, many more. Very, very good. Very, very good. Now, Sony's president of worldwide distribution, Keith Legoy, said, at Sony Pictures, we produce some of the biggest blockbusters and the most creative original films in the industry. This exciting agreement further demonstrates the importance of that content to our distribution partners as they grow their audiences and deliver the very best in entertainment. I mean, you're blowing smoke a little bit there, mate, but still, I believe you. Added Netflix film head Scott Stuber, this deal not only allows us to bring Sony's impressive slate of beloved film franchises and new IPs to Netflix in the US, but it also establishes a new source of first-run films for Netflix movie lovers worldwide. And they say Netflix in the US, so I hope this goes worldwide. Like, this, in general, this deal is worldwide. I really hope so. This deal comes after the other major studios have drawn their respective lines in the sand as to how they will be handling their theatrical titles, streaming services, and VOD. Warner's obviously were plebs when they did this and were like, yeah, we're just going to just chuck everything on HBO Max. You riled up filmmakers, you riled up actors, you irritated fellow studios that were working with you. This is real smart by Sony. Yeah. The announcement notes that Sony's theatrical output will continue at its current volume. So they're still putting stuff out in theatres as well. This is a great deal. Great deal. Now, it's a great deal. And again, we, the consumer, are the ones that benefit from it. I'm not sure how much we benefit from it, because realistically, what does Sony actually make at the moment? Not an awful lot. They do have some good indie movies that come out. Screen Gems do some good stuff, to be fair. So it'll be interesting to see how much we benefit from this in terms of what is actually made, actually produced, and actually comes out. But what do you guys think? Good deal, bad deal? Let me know down below in the comment section. If you are new here, please do hit subscribe. Again, grab the Blackfields Blu-ray down below in the description box. Thanks so much. Take care.